Well, the place to be for world-class cycling is always Europe in April, May, because the World Cup Classics are fought out in very close proximity to one another. The queen of them all is, of course, Paris Roubaix. We still say Paris Roubaix because that's where the race first started in the late 1800s, but nowadays it starts in the town of Compiègne, some 50 miles to the north of the capital of France. It invariably provides a great battle as it twists and turns around northern France, searching out those cobblestones that we always call the hell of the north.
Canyon hasn't done any of the work, and yet despite that, the four riders covered the first 2 hours of riding. They covered 58 miles, and if they keep that sort of schedule up, then they're going to get down to Roubaix in record time. Here's the main field, 2 minutes 25 seconds back, and the pressure now going on, because the riders always feel when they get to this part of the race, although there's still 68 miles to go, once they get to the forest of Arenberg, decisions have to be made. That is Van Poppel in the lead, and Duclos-Lassalle, Gilbert Duclos-Lassalle is trying to go across the gap to him. This is Eddie Senior. He was in the chase group that was trying to make contact, and joining two at the back there is Taffy, and number 28 going through. Well, that is in fact Ludwig Williams. So Williams has come up to this group. He wasn't in the initial chase. So that is the MG Maleficio team rider, Williams, as we go out to the end now of the forest of Arenberg. The crowd here at its thickest, the simple reason being, once they've seen Paris Roubaix go through the end of the forest, their cars park nearby, they're onto the nearby autoroute, and they'll be able to rejoin the race further along, and they'll get there a lot quicker than the riders, because if you look at the map for Paris Roubaix these days, starting at Compiègne, about 50 miles north of Paris, and in fact then goes on a very circuitous route, making its way up to Roubaix. It certainly doesn't go in a straight line. There is the peloton passing through the forest. One or two riders now having to hang on at the rear. There's still a very big field here. Sean Kelly has already experienced problems, by the way. He's had one puncture and he's come back up to the field. So too is another winner of Paris Roubaix, Eric van der Aarde. He's back up to the bunch, but they've both been involved in chases. Looking down the line here, Greg LeMond is very close to the front of this peloton. And so too, I can see also there the sunglasses on the eyes of Ludwig, Olaf Ludwig, the Olympic champion. And of course this is Olympic year in Barcelona. Ludwig now a professional rider, won't be defending the title he won in Seoul 4 years ago. But you know, the gap is coming down. It's now 31 seconds, and Leger is telling Duclos-Lassalle, and I'm sure that's not the news he wants to hear, because he knows the strength of Ludwig, he knows the pure speed and class of that rider, and the way Ludwig is pulling back Duclos-Lassalle right now, you know, they could come together at the entry to the velodrome and they could go onto the track together. It's as close as that. And the crowds now are shouting for Duclos-Lassalle, because they know, thanks to television and radio, which is live throughout the afternoon, they know exactly what this man has done to get him here in the lead in Paris Roubaix. He's not somebody coming out of the far distance and they say, oh look, it's a Frenchman. They know exactly what he's done to get here, and they appreciate the effort. And there's Ludwig, and he's just going around the same corner which we've just seen, in fact, Duclos-Lassalle go down, so I would say now we're inside 30 seconds. And Ludwig is coming back, Olaf Ludwig, and there's a car up the road there, but I don't think it's behind Duclos-Lassalle. He's a bit further than that, but he's going to see, there's the helicopter you see above our picture there. Well, that is where Duclos-Lassalle is. The other helicopter now flying over Olaf Ludwig, and the main field behind, I think it's safe to say, are out of it. Le Monde has done his job well there. There's just one rider escaped the pack, Olaf Ludwig, and he's got a real chance now of pulling back Duclos-Lassalle. France versus Germany, and the 90th Paris-Roubaix is going to be remembered as a great event, whoever wins it.
The World Cup races roll to a temporary halt in mid-April. They make way for the big national tours, the Tour of Spain, the Tour of Italy, and of course the Tour de France, which was again a great race. It started in San Sebastian in Spain, and when I arrived there with Paul Showing, my co-commentator, on the eve of the tour, we weren't too certain we were very welcome. This is what happened. An incendiary device was placed under the car by a Basque separatist, and as soon as it went on fire, it took out 6 other vehicles with it. So we'd lost our car before the tour started. But things got better, and as the race unfolded across 7 countries, it again produced its stars. None more so than that great cyclist from Italy, Claudio Chiappucci. This is what he did on the mountains of the Alps on the road to Sesterie.
As we go up to the top of the climb now, the Col de Montchény, and it's still the same man at the front. He's won every climb today in the Alps, and that is going to give him a near unassailable lead in the King of the Mountains competition. As we come up towards the top of the climb, we've got Bunyo and Indurain now chasing them down. So the big names, it's been a struggle, but they've forced their way to the front here. 3 minutes and 33 seconds down on Claudio Chiappucci. That's a long way. Chiappucci is still the leader on the road because this is a lot further back now to the climbing there of Lino. He's had a bad climb on Montchény. Andy Hampson's had a much better climb. He's come right up to the 4 here, goes over in 4th place. With him is Franco Vona. They are just over 4 minutes down on Claudio Chiappucci. And so they're chasing now down the other side of the climb of the Montchény. And if you look up the road, down there below us, and it is the world champion in the slipstream of Miguel Indurain. And the maillot jaune, by the way, Lino, is 5.5 minutes down on Chiappucci, and that will keep him out of the yellow jersey. Chiappucci could be in yellow tonight. The man he's got to worry about, and indeed the man who's worried about him, is Miguel Indurain. He is now trying to chase down Claudio Chiappucci, and that is going to be some chase. They've been joined there. So it looks as though Bunyo, Indurain, Hampson and Vona have got themselves together. Oh dear me, look at the face now of Claudio Chiappucci, because he's on the last climb. This is the climb up to Sesterie itself. Surely he's not going to crack now. This has been an escape of magnitude. Some 190 kilometres in the lead so far for Claudio Chiappucci. And this will go in the history books as one of the escapes of any Tour de France in modern times. Indurain knows it too. And this is the first time we've seen Indurain come out in this race and have to take on the racing himself and not rely on his team to close this race down. The only time that Indurain has really put his own effort into this race has been in the first time trial at Luxembourg. He built himself such a comfortable lead there. He hasn't really had a chance or wanted to do anything so far, but now he knows if he's going to save this Tour de France, he's got to stop Chiappucci, and he's got to stop him today. So Indurain, Bunyo alongside, and Bunyo will be content to see Indurain spend his energy now, maybe to find chance to attack him tomorrow on the long road to Alpe d'Huez, where he's won for the last 2 years, and indeed the only Italian ever to win, apart from Fausto Coppi, way back in 1952. Well, the crowd have been watching this on television, and they've been watching this rider out in front for 4 hours today. They've been watching him come slowly towards them, and Chiappucci now surely can't lose this stage. And Bunyo's in trouble. Well, look at this. There's been an acceleration on the front. It was Franco Vona who's turned the screw a little tighter. And this has caused Bunyo to be in a spot of trouble. And I'm sure that Indurain has noted that. Well, he hasn't done a lot. He's tried to follow Indurain, and he's still lost ground here. So Bunyo will be very, very unhappy with his form so far in this year's Tour de France. Long, long, steady climb. This brings them up to the top of the Sesterie. Big crowd are waiting too, and Hampson is also in trouble here. Andy Hampson has tailed off. He falls back here to Miguel Indurain. Our camera's not allowed to go past these 2 riders by the international race referees. So we'll go back up and join Claudio Chiappucci. The gap is still there. It's coming down at the start of this climb with 10 kilometres to go to the top. That's 6 miles. He was leading by 2 minutes and 20 seconds on those 4 riders we've just seen, but they've split up now. Franco Vona here also trying to have a little go. Cheers to Bunyo on the right of our picture there. Indurain trying to make his attempt here now to open up the gap. He's got to close this gap down. It's man on man now. Indurain isn't worried about his finish position today. He's more worried about the actual time gains of Claudio Chiappucci, who could be heading for the maillot jaune right now, because Pascal Lino is in terrible trouble and losing a lot of time today. The yellow jersey could be the return now after this marvellous ride by Claudio Chiappucci. Will go down as one of the finest escapes I've ever seen in any of 20 Tours de France, and the Italians know it too. They're trying to coax, pull and drag their man home in Italy. The Tour de France very rarely makes an incursion into Italy, and surely now they're not going to allow Claudio Chiappucci to lose not just the stage win, but the manner in which he has won this race. He's not been afraid of anybody in this year's Tour. He's attacked the minute this stage has started. I can't believe when he attacked at the beginning of today's stage of 254 kilometres, he really expected to be in this position now coming up to the finish. Look at this crowd. And even the motorbikes are in the way now, and this is really unfortunate because you lose your rhythm. And actually, Chiappucci just asking the crowd to pull back, let him see the road to the finish, please, at Sesterie.